going, guys? Welcome back to October Reads. And so far, we've got a chance to cover the Marvel Zombies. We've seen Ash cross over with Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, but we haven't covered yet Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness. So this time, once again, we get Dynamite Entertainment just throwing Ash Williams in all these insane situations. So this time, we get them thrown in with the Marvel Zombies. I'm not sure how they even made this one happen, but hey, I guess Dynamite was like, hey, yeah, take Ash, do whatever you want with the Marvel. So we get, first off, this beautiful Arthur Sodam cover. He continued on the covers, but now we have John Layman on the writing duties this time, instead of Robert Kirkman, who we're very familiar with from his first two arcs of Marvel Zombies. In my opinion, this was like the real Marvel Zombies 3. I can't remember who did Marvel Zombies 3, but I feel like this came out after Marvel Zombies 2. So after this one, I was kind of done with the whole Marvel Zombies trend, I'll be honest. But at least here, like, this was like the last fun 5-issue miniseries, in my opinion, that they put out with the Marvel Zombies title on it. So in this one, it starts off by Ash just falling out of the sky, like at the end of Evil Dead 2 when he went through that portal. It's like, just imagine, instead of falling in like the medieval era, he fell in somehow the Marvel universe. So we get him falling out of the sky, and there's these flashbacks of him basically being entered into what looks like heaven, but they won't let him in because he's got a chainsaw on his boomstick, of course. So the little angel at the entrance, he's like, no way, that chainsaw's not allowed. What about the boomstick? And then he turns around and it's the Sentry that's a zombie from the other Marvel Zombies incarnation. So it kind of raises the question, did Ash kind of cause the Marvel Zombies outbreak by just shifting between dimensions? Maybe this says he does. But going to the timeline here, he actually arrives right before the Marvel Zombies outbreak happens. So he's the one who's ranting and raving about evil is coming and that stuff, because he meets a human incarnation, basically, of the Necronomicon, who warns him that something bad's about to happen. So he's a raving lunatic. He tries to break into the Avengers mansion, and that's where he runs into this version of the Avengers from the Marvel Zombies universe. And if you're not too familiar with them, they look like those like 70s and 80s incarnations and like their old school costumes and that stuff. So he's trying to explain to Colonel America and the rest of the Avengers that there's a whole bunch of Deadites on the way, and they're just like snickering and laughing at him because imagine Bruce Campbell talking to Captain America, basically. It's pretty much plays out like you would think. They don't take him seriously at all. The Scarlet Witch teleports him away and drops him into a lake because he thinks he's too hot-headed. He needs to cool off. And then he, like, when the danger does start, he's running around later, and that's when, you know, the Avengers are like, hey, maybe this lunatic is, you know, more than a lunatic. And they're like, yeah, he's a dangerous lunatic. So Spider-Man actually arrives, and Spider-Man's like, hey, how can I help? It's like, get that guy out of here. So he webs him up, and it's almost kind of like that Amazing Fantasy 15 cover where he's like swinging away with Ash. And then that's when that version of Sentry shows up, who's a zombie, and they don't stand a chance against that version of Sentry, of course, because imagine Superman as a zombie, it's the same thing. So he pretty much infects all of the Avengers immediately, and then you get Spider-Man and Ash swinging away, and then Sentry eventually does catch up to Spider-Man as well, and Ash is cornered with, I believe it was Hawkeye and Luke Cage and maybe Miss Marvel at the very end, and they're deciding who's going to eat the brain, and they don't think he has a brain, so none of them want the brain because it won't satiate their hunger. So a lot of fun here. I do like the stories down the line later in this. Like, my favorite part, I think, is where the version of Ash that just somehow lives in the Marvel Universe is eaten by a zombie Howard the Duck, and that's a cliffhanger, and then you go to the next issue, and the Ash we're following is just standing in the background like, oh, that sucks, that guy kind of looked like me, and now he's dead. So, just a random cliffhanger, but more fun from the Marvel Zombies label and Army of Darkness. I'll go ahead and give this a solid 4 out of 5. Wish we could have had Sean Phillips and Robert Kirkman back, but hey, having John Layman fill in instead definitely was a good replacement. And like I said, this is probably like my last favorite Marvel Zombies run. You had Marvel Zombies 1 and 2 from Kirkman, and you had this one from John Layman. So just a strong finish, and then they went for like 5 or 6 more. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of got off board with the Marvel Zombies train right after this. So I recommend it if you like just a good Marvel Zombies good time. But thank you guys so much once again for checking out October Reads.